Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Scream 4, released in 2011. Growing up, I only had the original Scream trilogy, with Scream 3 capping off not only Sidney Prescott's story, but indeed the decade of the 90s as a whole. 11 years later, the horror landscape had changed considerably, and Kevin Williamson couldn't help writing another Scream to comment on it.
Self-aware, postmodern meta shit. Stick a fork in 1996 already.
Wes Craven was more than happy to take the reins once more, especially considering the lackluster reception to his intervening work. Red Eye excluded. That movie rules. Scream 4 returns to Woodsboro for the first time since Scream 1. Although instead of shooting in Northern California again, production moved to my home state of Michigan, where it shot all over the place. Northville, Dearborn, and of course, Ann Arbor, home of University of Michigan, my alma mater, and where Chelsea and I first met in 2009. This was during Michigan's brief period of tax incentives for film productions. We had a window there, and Rick Snyder closed it. Scream 4 sees the return of its main cast, who I maintain are the best trio of protagonists horror has ever had. I love checking in with them during different chapters of their lives. Here we find them in their late 30s and early 40s, no longer inexperienced young adults. Filling in for their foregone youth are a bunch of young actors playing new Woodsboro High students.
They remind me a lot of, us in the first Scream.
These kids have grown up knowing about the OG massacre, though it's become more of an irreverent fascination.
One generation's tragedy is the next one's joke.
Their obsession with the Woodsboro murders extends to the now long-running Stab series, as they plan a movie marathon near the anniversary of the first film's events. Scream 4 is a nice 21st century update to a franchise that defined the 90s. Cell phones are ubiquitous now, and they have texting capabilities, ooh! And internet fame, still in its infancy, is already on these characters' minds. As for horror commentary, the name of the game during this time was remakes and reboots. Scream 4 delves into that trend alongside the proliferation of so-called torture porn. It does a good job reflecting the trends of the era back on itself. I just wish someone had wiped off the camera lens. Why does everything look so damn smeared? As with all Scream sequels, it has its shortcomings, but Scream 4 is still a solid entry. Plenty worthy enough of being Craven's final film, since we sadly lost him in 2015.
It's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Thank you for helping us get through this.
Is this pseudo-remake a relic of the past, or will a shiny new movie mean shiny new kills? Let's find out and get to them. The movie begins, like always, with a phone call. While this landline is retro, Sherry and Trudy are modern teens who watch modern horror movies.
Saw 4.
It sucks. I hate all that torture porn shit.
As always, the opening scene features established actors. Like Omar Epps in Scream 2. I don't know how, but I forgot to mention him by name. My bad. Trudy is played by Degrassi star Shanae Grimes-Beach, who had 2 seasons of 90210 under her belt. Sherry is played by Lucy Hale, who had just begun Pretty Little Liars. We've seen her on The Kill Count and Truth or Dare. The Screamagers leave Ghostface hanging, so he's forced to get with the times and terrorize them over text. Sherry calls his bluff and opens the front door, only for a Ghostface to appear inside the house and kill Trudy with a stab to the chest. If you look closely, you can see the knife is CGI, a first for Scream, as Craven didn't want to deal with rubber props anymore. Another Ghostface then appears and slits Sherry's throat with his blade. Yep, Cher Bear, just slide on down to the kill count. The movie, meanwhile, slides into a title card. Wait, Stab 6? Yep, turns out that scene was from a movie being watched by Chloe and Rachel, the 6th in the long-running Stab series. These 2 characters are played by even bigger names, Michigan's own Kristen Bell and Anna Paquin, who was last seen on this show in Trick or Treat. While bemoaning how unoriginal these opening scenes have gotten, she's surprised by a rogue stab to the stomach courtesy of Chloe. With one more juicy stab, Chloe sends her friend to the good place. Now she's free to sit back and enjoy this title card. Oh, come on, Stab 7? Once again, we were watching a movie scene. So yes, these first 4 kills were fictional characters, but I'm still gonna count them because even though they're fake, we did live within their reality for a bit. This will also be my retroactive reasoning for counting those mooks who were killed at the start of Friday 5. Of course, it makes no fucking sense that they'd be watching Stab 6 in Stab 7. That'd be like if they watched Scream 2 and Scream 3, or watched Halloween 1 and Halloween 3. Oh wait, that happened. Marnie here is quick to call out the paradox.
It's illogical. It begs the question that if the beginning of Stab 7 is Stab 6, then is the beginning of Stab 6 Stab 5? And if so, where what is Stab 4 about?
But her friend Jenny explains that it does make sense. The Stab franchise has just gotten pretty wacky. In Scream 3, we saw Stab 3 Return to Woodsboro get shut down. But apparently, the series returned in 2006 with Stab 3 Hollywood Horror. That's at least according to the Scream Wiki. Who knows how accurate that is. What we do know is that after Stab 3, Sidney Prescott threatened to sue the filmmakers. They had to stop using her story and likeness, so the sequels since Part 4 have just been made up shit.
Stab 5 has time travel, which is by far the worst.
Jenny is still a fan of the franchise, since she and Marnie live in Woodsboro. Marnie gets a threatening call, but it's just Jenny pranking her with some phone rings. The jocular Jenny has a change of heart when things get serious on Marnie's end of the call. Jen comes downstairs to find a phone on the floor and a friend through the window. Marnie's been murdered off screen. She'll never see another Tomorrowland. A very real Ghostface enters and chases Jenny through some weird unfinished extension to her house. It leads into the garage, where her hopes of escaping are crushed when Ghostface gives her like a quarter Tatum treatment. After that, it's Friday Night Lights Out for Jenny, who's killed by an off-screen stab and an actual title card. Fucking finally. With the oversized opening out of the way, we're back in present-day Woodsboro with present-day characters. The next gen of teenage meatbags are led by Scream Queen Bee Jill Roberts, played by Emma Roberts, last seen on the kill count cashing a cameo check in The Hunt. Jill is Sydney's estranged cousin, and the familial relation creeps out her friend and neighbor Olivia. She calls Sid the Grim Reaper, since everyone around her dies.
Stab is the wrong franchise for her, it should be Final Destination.
Their other friend, Kirby Reed, isn't weirded out, since she is a hardcore horror film fan. Her fandom is matched by their geeky peers Robbie and Charlie, who run the high school cinema club. Rounding out the friend group is Jill's boyfriend Trevor, who's pretty much like Whiteout on a blank piece of paper. He's maybe the most forgettable character in the franchise. Yeah, roar all you want, Tiger. All I'm saying is, you ain't no skeet. Like Sydney and her friends before them, Jill and her crew attend Woodsboro High. There are more visual parallels and deleted scenes, as well as a clearer look at the school's bust of Principal Arthur Himberelli. The statue's barely visible in the final cut of the film, but hey, at least they honored the crazy bastard. For the first time in a Scream movie, it starts off with Dewey and Gail still in a relationship. Ironically, in real life, the couple had separated by this point, though they wouldn't formally divorce until 2012. Their on-screen marriage has survived this past decade, but it's taken a toll on Gail's creative output. She can't help but feel jealous towards Sydney, who's now a successful author, having written about her survival experiences. Sid's interviewed here by Nancy O'Dell, real-life host at Access Hollywood and Entertainment Tonight. O'Dell was in Scream 2, interviewing Tori Spelling about Stab, and in Scream 3, reporting on the deaths of Cotton Weary and Christine. The last stop of Sydney's book tour is in her hometown, which she finds decorated with ghost faces. But modern-day Sydney isn't a victim, unlike in Scream 3, where she was trapped by the trauma of the first two films. She no longer wears her dead college boyfriend's frat letters. She's moved on from and come to terms with her tragic past.
Well, I guess today is the anniversary. Kids.
Gail shows up to Sid's book signing so the two can have a patented Scream character reunion. Oh, that's nice. They're soon joined by Dewey, who's now the sheriff of Woodsboro, and he's brought the rest of his police department with him. They've tracked the phone used in last night's murders to their location, and they find it in the trunk of Sydney's rental car. It grounds her in Woodsboro and messes with her income. Look at all that torn and bloodied inventory. The spilling of fresh blood kicks Gail into action, but her efforts are blocked by Dewey's deputy Judy Hicks, named after Corporal Hicks in Aliens. Judy doesn't want a civilian getting involved, and she may also have ulterior motives.
Sheriff, you're not cheating on your wife if you eat my lemon square.
Sounds like somebody's looking for a dewberry mustache ride. But don't worry, she's never been kissed by the married man. Gail tries to appeal to her husband, but despite their history of solving these cases as a team, Dewey says they can't work together anymore since he's the sheriff. Gail tells him she can be a force of nature by herself.
This is what I know how to do.
Jill and her friends are brought in for questioning since they received threatening phone calls earlier that day. It's the first time these cousins have seen each other in a long time. It's the first time Sydney's ever seen Kirby.
It was the killer's voice. From Stab, or I mean, you know, from your life.
Sid crashes at Jill's house, which is on Lincoln Ave in a neighborhood near U of M's South Campus. This house was definitely on my jogging route in college, which is weird. Jill's mom, Kate, is Sydney's aunt since she was Maureen Prescott's sister.
I have scars too.
We never get to hear about those scars, but we do get a nice scene with Sid and Dewey, where he says he's proud of her success. He quotes her book along with the page number it was on, which is something he did with Gail in her book in Scream 2. Dewey the literature lover. You can even see Sid's book on his nightstand. The warmth you see here between the characters comes from the real-life relationship between the actors.
Courtney and David feel like family now.
It's a love that permeated the whole set.
You don't get this experience that often in this business, that you're working with people that you've worked with for 16 straight years, you know, it's something special.
Despite the original plan to stop the series after 3, once Craven signed on to return, it brought back a whole lot of the trilogy's crew.
It's a very relaxed kind of family feel, and I think I know how to bring out the best in them, and they know how to bring out the best in me.
Returnees included Scream cinematographer Peter Deming, composer Marco Beltrami, and producers Marianne Maddalena and Kathy Conrad. Dane Farwell returned to play Ghostface after donning the mask in Screams 1 and 2, and Scream 3's Ghostface, Brian Avery, returned to be David Arquette's stunt double.
These things are not easy, so you need to be surrounded by people who know you and are tough and are dedicated to getting your vision done the way you want it done, and these people are all like that.
The crew would play pranks on the newbies, where returning prop master J.P. Jones would scare them in the Ghostface mask. Fucker. Jill continues to follow the Prescott playbook with a boyfriend who sneaks in through her window. But Jill ain't even looking for a PG-13 relationship after Trevor cheated on her with another girl. Sid sees them interact and grows suspicious of boyfriend guy due to her past experience with window climbing boyfriend guys. She's also made uneasy by Deputy Judy, who's creeping around the shadows with Pennywise eyes. She's played by Marley Shelton, last seen as final girl Kate in Valentine, and she is a little bit obsessed with Sidney Prescott.
We were in Peter Pan together. I played a lost boy. You were Tiger Lily.
Again, this is a nice continuity of character traits. Here we find out Sydney did theater in high school, which lines up with her stage acting at Windsor College. Outside, 2 cops watch over the Roberts home. Deputy Hoss is played by Adam Brody, a 2-time kill count veteran, while Deputy Perkins is played by Anthony Anderson, who had been in Scary Movies 3 and 4. He's hoping to bring some law and order to Woodsboro, just as soon as he's done salivating over underage girls.
She can live next door to me.
Sir, that is a teenager who has homework to do. Olivia's still wary of the Prescott presence in Jill's home, so she declines an invitation to come over and watch Shaun of the Dead. Jill tries to punk her with a bad Ghostface impression before their slumber party shenanigans are interrupted by a pro.
How's the movie?
Once again, Ghostface is voiced by Roger Jackson, who at this point had still never met the main cast in person. Right now, he's whispering because he says he's in the closet. Kirby goes to sexually liberate him from Jill's closet, which is adorned with a poster for the Blind Pig, a club in Ann Arbor where the movie production had its kickoff party. Only problem is, Ghostface isn't in this closet. He's in Olivia's, and now he jumps out for an attack. He seriously fucks her up, stabbing her through the hand and tossing her through the window. Sid hears the commotion and immediately springs into action, since she's a badass. By the time she gets next door though, Olivia's insides are on the outside, guts spilling out in one of the franchise's goriest deaths. It's likely a nod to all that torture porn. Jill blames Sidney for her friend's demise before Ghostface reemerges and attacks both of them. Sid kicks his ass, and his face, hell yeah Sid! But he does his disappearing act, allowing the supporting cast to make suspicious entrances. The attack means hospital trips all around, which earns the attention of horror cinephiles Robbie and Charlie. They're doing some lame-ass web streaming report when Gail suggests a team-up between their new media and her, media of a certain age. Robbie's more than happy to take a trip to Cougar Town.
I love you.
Very good.
Inside, Sydney catches up with her publicist Rebecca Walters. Like Gail, Rebecca is a nasty media type played by a popular sitcom actress. In this case, Alison Brie, who was in her 2nd season of Community. But unlike Gail, Rebecca hasn't had 3 movies to grow a heart.
2 girls butchered. Payday.
Her callous attitude gets her canned by Sydney, and on her way out of the movie, she gets a call from Ghostface. With her car sabotaged and this door not in the mood to door, Rebecca is stabbed in the gut by Ghostface. I love how just offended she looks by this. Oh, Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? Nah, she fucking dead, dude. Yeah, go ahead and check for a pulse, Mountain Dewy. I think she left it 6 stories up. Gail and Sydney pay a visit to the high school's movie club, hoping to find potential suspects there. Robbie and Charlie give a Randy Meeksian presentation on the horror genre. They mention remakes made by music video directors, a reference to the many films by Platinum Dunes. Texas Chainsaw and Friday were directed by Marcus Nispel, Amityville by Andrew Douglas, The Hitcher by Dave Myers, and A Nightmare on Elm Street by Samuel Bayer, every single one of whom made their name directing music videos. Not content to only comment on the present, Robbie's constant live streaming accurately predicts the future.
You film your entire high school experience and post it on the net?
Everybody will be doing it someday.
You know, this never seemed feasible in 2011 to me, mostly because of bandwidth issues. But turns out, Robbie's so-called life casting was based on Justin TV, a 24-hour live stream that lasted for 8 months in 2007, during which Justin Kahn and some partners live streamed his life from a head-mounted webcam. Justin TV grew quickly and eventually spun off to become Twitch. I'm still gonna take umbrage with their supposed new rule though. They say the only way to survive a new horror movie is to be gay. I don't think that was ever accurate until maybe the past few years. But even then, the surviving character's gayness seems incidental, not causal, you know?
You're black! I'm gay! We are so dead!
Gail and Sydney learn of a stab marathon happening that night.
All 7 stabs back to back. We do it every year.
Wait, what? That would take at least 11 hours. When's it happening? From 8 at night to 7 in the fucking morning? Jill's mom won't let her go, so she's stuck at home while Kirby attends the marathon without her. Man, look at this thing. It's a giant party you can definitely hear from miles around.
Where is this circle jerk gonna take place?
You know, it's kind of an underground thing.
Yeah, dude, you're a super secret youth in revolt. I'm sure no adults can find this 12-hour underage drinking festival. Ah well, at least they've got some pretty good Gal and Dewey cosplayers. Real Gal's here too, dressed as a fake Ghostface giving thumbs up. She's planting cameras to spy on drunk teens like it were 1996 again. Oh, Gal, you're gonna get arrested one of these days. The replacement Randys list the rules to their drinking game like they were watching a Disney movie as Gal settles in for a viewing party of her own. Some paranormal activity puts a wrench in her plans, so she calls Dewey over before heading inside to fix her teen feed. She stumbles upon a camera that doesn't belong to her and then finds some evil in a haystack. While Heather Graham is chased down on screen, Gal is attacked in the loft. Ghostface stabs her in the shoulder, but Dewey shows up to scare him away with bullets. Since Dewey yelled firearm in a crowded theater, everyone flees. Gal tells him about Ghostface's camera, surmising that the new killer is making a movie. They head to the hospital with her on the stretcher for the first time. Usually, that's the Dewmeister's position. Back at Jill's house, Haas and Perkins are keeping watch, which has already proven ineffective. Just ask Olivia. While returning from a perimeter check, Haas gets stabbed in the back by Ghostface. Pretty disappointing waste of Adam Brody, not gonna lie. The killer follows it up with a stab straight into Perkins' forehead. In a scene Craven based on a real-life event, the brain-damaged deputy survives long enough to swing a few punches before finally succumbing to his injuries. Kate returns home from a late-night store trip and now stands with a fistful of grocery bags. Oscar-nominated actress Mary McDonnell originally had a few more scenes, but they wound up deleted, making Kate feel underutilized. Sydney gets another call from Ghostface, who tells her to tune into a weather's report on Gail. He threatens her family, and with Jill apparently having snuck out for the stabathon, that leaves Aunt Kate as the only target. And oh lord, Ghostface coming! Sid and Kate work together to lock him out, but then they get a special delivery. Here's a knife. It's got a bite. It's surely gonna end a life. And just like that, the light in Kate's life goes Donnie Darko. Judy arrives about 3 murders too late, but before she can start suspecting Sydney, the OG final girl speed racers away to find her niece. The teens are having a kickback at Kirby's, and while it's bloodless at the moment, the vibes are killed by the arrival of Travis, or Trevor, boyfriend guy. Vanilla Ice claims he was invited via text from Jill, but Jill counters that her phone is missing and goes to look for it. Trevor follows soon after, and a drunk Robbie pieces out to give his homies some private time with Kirby.
Now would be a really good time to make a move.
Their Netflix and chilling is interrupted by Trevor, who pops back in to watch Stab 7 with them. Charlie storms off, leaving Kirby to stare absolute daggers at this cock blockhead.
Get out of my house!
Outside, Robbie's still drunk live streaming. Again, like he were watching a Disney movie. He's played by Eric Knudsen. Last seen on the kill count is a little boy having a gas in Saw 2. Robbie's webcam gets messed up by some slapstick humor, but he fixes it in time for a collab with Ghostface. The cinephile is fucked up with a couple knife stabs before he makes an appeal to his attacker.
Wait, no, I'm gay.
Again, this so-called rule was nowhere close to being true in 2011, so Ghostface calls bullshit and mostly finishes him off. He survives long enough for Sydney to arrive so he can stumble over and die in front of the star attraction. With the Ghostface at the door, the ladies run upstairs. I hope Sydney's less judgmental about that these days. She helps Jill hide beneath the bed and lures Ghostface outside. She calls Sheriff Dewey and tells him to come over before getting clotheslined on the fucking roof. The athletic Sydney gets away again and finds Kirby alive and scared inside. They head to the basement where they see Charlie at the back door, leaving a red right handprint, the closest thing we get to Nick Cave in Scream 4. The song's not in this movie because of copyright reasons. Been there. Chucklefuck begs them to let him inside, but Sydney warns Kirby of Randy Meeks' mantra.
Everybody Everybody's a suspect!
Kirby decides to leave him on red, which is when Ghostface shows up to get gnarly with Charlie. All of a sudden, a blackout happens, indicating the lights have gone out. This is dumb to me. Now Charlie's tied up, which I guess was supposed to happen when the power went out, without Sid and Kirby seeing it, even though he's just outside. Come on, Scream sequels, people can see in the dark. Charlie's predicament is a nod to the franchise's first on-screen victim, Steve, who was also referenced in a deleted scene where Jenny and Marnie's bodies were arranged like his and Casey's. That scene also featured Craven in a cameo as a coroner. While Sydney leaves to look for Jill, Kirby competes in the Casey Becker quiz show. Kirby's a horror pro and answers all the questions thrown at her, including one in which she lists 15 horror remakes that had come out in recent years.
Halloween, Texas Chainsaw, Dawn of the Dead, Prom Night, Black Christmas, House of Wax, The Hills Have Eyes, Amityville Horror. It's one of those, right?
But you can't win trivia by giving a dozen answers to a question. Maybe that's why the creepy Culkin stabs Kirby, revealing that he's a killer.
4 years of classes together and you notice me now?
Damn, should have seen the signs. No kill graphic for this recount though. Craven had intended Kirby's fate to be ambiguous, and her survival was confirmed in a Scream 5 Easter egg. We'll see her in the flesh in Scream 6. I can't wait. Inside, Sydney is ambushed by Charlie. She manages to escape, only to get stabbed in the gut by another Ghostface. The second mystery murderer is revealed to be, wait for it, Jill!
Surprised?
I bet Sydney's sick of surprises by now. In true remake fashion, our deadly duo brings Sid to the kitchen, where they reveal their Patsy Trevor is tied up behind door number 2.
Mind you of anything?
Sure does. He looks just like Papa Prescott there, even dressed the same way. Look at that. Jill vents about their relationship issues.
I am not the girl you cheat on.
Before nut-tapping Trevor in both of his heads. God damn, that one hurts to watch. These Lords of Chaos launch into their explanation, which might be the best killer reveal scene since the first film. They say that they want to be the new Sid and Randy, sole survivors of a murder spree. But this spree has footage they've been recording with various cameras. They're gonna put it online to go viral, bringing them much more fame and fortune. While this has slight similarities to Mickey's motivation, this is the first time a Ghostface plan has absolutely nothing to do with Maureen Prescott. In fact, Mama Maureen isn't in this movie at all, though her pictures were in a deleted scene. The pair channel their predecessors and prepare for some stabbing between friends.
Old school. Like Billy and Stu.
But Jilly Loomis goes heartbreaker and stabs for the kill. She wants to be a solo survivor, and it makes more sense for Charlie to be seen as less of a Meeks and more of a mocker, know what I mean? This one's on you, Chuck. A real student of Scream would know that pairs of killers always have a second fiddle. Jill's drive for fame has made her jealous of Sydney. She's suffering from serious Jan Brady syndrome.
Sydney, Sydney, Sydney.
She takes sick delight giving Sydney another stab that puts her on the ground, then sets out to stage the crime scene before the cops arrive. In a wonderful 3-minute sequence, Jill preps the place to match her lie. She scratches and stabs herself, and pulls her hair out with a helping hand from Trevor. Then she wraps her mind around some art, and ultimately gives herself a glass. By God, that woman had a family, whom she stabbed a minute ago. This bloody family portrait is how Dewey and Judy discover them. On the way to the hospital, Jill gets a taste of the fame that she's been craving. And in Williamson's original script, this would have been the cliffhanger ending. The original plan was for Jill to return in the next film, fighting an amnesiac Sydney who didn't remember she was the killer. A new ending was added late in production, with uncredited rewrites by Paul Harris Boardman and Scream 3 screenwriter Aaron Kruger. Williamson wasn't available for revisions, since he was once again busy running a TV show, this time Vampire Diaries. Jill wakes up in the hospital with Dewey by her side, and goes straight to work brown-nosing a book deal with his wife.
We'd be a good team with our matching wounds and all.
Unfortunately for her, Dewey reveals that Sydney survived the attack, and Jill is just super excited about that. Seriously, she's thrilled. Yay! She quickly gets to work, making her way to Sydney's room with Malice and a movie reference.
Who are you? Michael fucking Myers?
While the two ladies tussle, Dewey visits Gail, and they realize Jill shouldn't know the specifics of Gail's wound.
She was stabbed in the shoulder? How did she know I was too?
Realizing it's the cousin, Dewey rushes to Sydney's aid, but Jill wails on him with a bedpan, really stone colding as Mr. McMahon. Gail arrives and is held at gunpoint, but Judy tackles her to safety before taking a bullet herself. Alright, I'm sorry, does anyone actually work in this hospital? You'd think someone would come see what was up, you know? Ever the writer, Gail asks if she can have a final word.
Clear.
Clear?
Clear.
Sydney straight fries her cousin's brain and caps off the mind melting with a meta one-liner.
You forgot the first rule of remakes, Jill.
Don't fuck with the original.
Of course, this is a Scream movie, meaning Jill's still got one scare left in her. Sid stops it with a gunshot straight through the heart. They thought about leaving Jill's fate ambiguous too, but I don't know, man. She looks pretty fucking dead to me here, right? Unlike Judy, who's had a lifeguarding vest on, making her death-proof. The movie ends with a line of reporters giving Jill the fame she killed and died for. How many kills were we able to see through all the Vaseline smeared on the lens? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Hello?
Hello, Jamothy.
Hi, Zoran.
It's not Sword, it's Ghostface.
Okay, hi, Ghostface.
That's better. Now I just want to make sure that your wits are as sharp as my knife.
With a little, pop quiz about your channel.
Hey, listen, man, I'm sorry. I don't really have the time for something.
Listen, if you don't play my game, I'll make sure they make another Thanksgiving movie, understand?
Oh, God, please, anything but that.
That's what I thought. Now, name the groundbreaking horror movie kill count
You released
The Friday the 13th franchise, the Scream movies, The Thing, Night of the Living Dead, Get Out, the Chucky movies, It, You're Next, The Mist, Trick or Treat, Thanksgiving, the Alien franchise, Jack Frost's 1 and 2, Black Christmas, Krampus, New Year's Evil, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, The Thing prequel, the other It, all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, The Strangers, Look-See, Werewolf by Night, The Black Phone, Black Friday, Bodies, Malignant, Prey, Gremlins 1 and 2, The Tripper, the Scream movies again. It's one of those, right? Right?
Hello? Zoran? Ghostface?
14 people died in Scream 4, with the victims consisting of 5 men and 9 women. That gives us a pie chart with a big slice of remake red, a rarity. It also gives us the most kills out of any Scream film thus far. With a runtime of 111 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 7.93 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Olivia. The whole attack in her bedroom is pretty brutal, and the last bit with her guts spilling out is unusually gory for a Scream. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Deputy Haas, a single stab even the victim had his back to. And that's it. Scream 4 was released in 2011 and underperformed at the box office. Between that and Wes Craven's passing, the franchise appeared to be dead, outside of the MTV show that doesn't take place within the same universe. It took 11 years for another Scream film to be made, which I'll be looking at next week. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Hey everyone, thanks a lot for watching the final Scream recount. Next week is an all-new kill count for you with the 5th Scream, 2022's. After that, there will be a week off from kill counts, but we will have a video for you. I know a lot of people have asked for a scary movie kill count. I don't think that would really work because of how comedic it is. But Chelsea and I did do a commentary track on it like 3 years ago, and we're gonna release a cut-down version of that. It's really funny. The editors have been hard at work on it. I think you'll like it. I want to thank some patrons like Island Guimaraes, Chris Gonzalez, Declan, Ewan Southgate, Julian Martinez, Kyle, Nicholas Taylor, Thomas Jones, Kelly Rafferty, Zach Batchelder, Cities Burn Red, Phoenix, Phenomenon, Alexander, and Giselle G. We've got a lot of names to work our way through. Thanks everyone. Be good people.